Hello, everybody. This is Chuck Carnevale, co-founder of Fast Graphs, the Fundamentals Analyzer software tool, a.k.a. Mr. Valuation. I'm going to do something that I've been asked to do quite a few times, and I think it'll be kind of fun. I'm going to attempt to build what's called a F.I.R.E. Dividend Growth Portfolio. F.I.R.E. is an acronym for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So what I'm looking for, I'm going to be screening for dividend growth stocks that are attractively valued that can be utilized for people that are pre-retirement that can build up the income for them. And then after I screen and run the screening process, which will be this video, part one, then I'm actually going to go through the process and take you through a series of videos here, 2 or 3. It depends on how verbose I am, I guess, in this thing, and show you how I would screen for and then ultimately put together a dividend growth portfolio for those investors that are looking for financial independence and retiring early, called F.I.R.E. So let's go ahead and go to Fast Graphs, and let's look at the screen that I developed. I call it F.I.R.E. Dividend Growth, and I built that screen on November 19th. Okay, now let's go through the metrics. First of all, I started with regions, United States. You add metrics with this little button here on Fast Graphs. And then I looked for dividend per share compound annual growth rate greater than 8%. Okay, so I was looking for good dividend growth. And then I wanted high quality companies, so I chose credit ratings of BBB minus or better. And then I wanted companies that had estimated earnings growth equal to or greater than 8%, staying consistent there. Now I could change these variables. We might even do that here in a second so that you can see that you get different screens. And then I looked for dividend yields greater than or equal to 0, which means I wanted just companies that paid a dividend. I just wanted to originally run a kind of a gross screen, we'll call it. And then I wanted value, so I screened for earnings yields greater than 6%. Now, 6.67% would be a PE ratio of 15. 6 would be something closer to a PE ratio of up to 16, but that's again, within a value range or corridor. I just did this to make sure I got some good stocks. And then I stuck to the regions of U.S. and Canada and the country of incorporation of U.S. and Canada. Okay, now I run the query. I've already done it, obviously, and I came up with 46 names. And these are all, many of them would be recognizable, what I'll call high-quality dividend growth stocks. Okay, and I've got estimated earnings growth rates here. I created a view here. I've got estimated earnings growth rates starting as low as 8%. Remember, I looked for 6 and going as high as 32%. And some of these numbers are, when you see numbers like this, they're anomalous. Now, I also had dividend yields of as small as 0.5% all the way up to almost 6%. But remember, my primary focus here was on dividend growth. Okay, and my compounded dividend growth rates, remember I said I wanted 8% or more. The low was 8.21%. The highest was Radian Group. Okay, now what I've done is I've created 46 names here, or a screen. This is the first step of the screen. I've found these 46 names here. We'll put them in alphabetical order. Be easier for you to follow, perhaps. And again, they're different quality ratings, different dividend yields, but what I'm focusing on here is dividend growth. Now, what I will do from here, and we'll do that in the next video, but I'll just give you a sneak preview, if you will. I'll go into the company symbol itself. I'll go into the historical graph, and I'll look at the graph and of each individual company, because even though you could screen, and screens can be very effective, I didn't get real good earnings persistency here. I could have added that, but the more things you add, oftentimes the harder it is to come up with anything. But I've got Archer Daniels Midland here. There's that 16 plus PE with a 6% earnings yield, if you will. And again, it's a little higher, but again, this stock's coming off of 3 years of dropping earnings and dropping stock price. But like you're going to see on the vast majority, if not all of these stocks, is the most consistent line on the graph is the gold line, which is the dividend line. Now, you get a little bit of an anomaly here with Archer Daniel, because I want you to also notice they changed their fiscal year end from June in 2012, and then starting in 2013, they moved to a December fiscal year. So that kind of screws up. This line actually is relatively flat and consistent. So if I shorten this time frame, you'll see that we have a very consistent line. So here's the thing about dividend stocks and why I recommend them and like them so much. The earnings on Archer Daniel Midland, obviously, if I take price off the graph and just look at the orange line here, which is, I got the normal P on there. If I look at the orange line, I got some inconsistency in earnings growth. There are times when the earnings grow very fast and times when the earnings fall. This is a very cyclical company, Archer Daniel Midland. If I obviously look at the price line, I get all this volatility, which typically exists in almost any stock. The most inconsistent line will always be the price line. That's real important. But then if I look at just the dividend line, which is the gold line, this is always the most consistent line. It's the most predictable and most reliable line that you'll see on these dividend growth stocks. Okay, and that's why I like dividend stocks, because when I'm looking to build something for retirement, I want to get the most consistency I can. Now, if we go into American Financial Group, I'll just go through a couple here at the beginning, because I'll be doing this in more detail. Well, here's a pretty consistent company. They apparently paid a real special dividend in December of 2021. I would see all that. But again, I'll be looking at these stocks and trying to make a decision of whether or not I want to include them in my portfolio or not. Okay, and I can look here in the summary I'm looking at, and I can see the estimated annual rate of return, which is attractive. I like 18%. I like the 10.5% growth rate. And in this particular case, this particular stock offers a dividend yield of about 2.67%. Okay, but I would go through each of these stocks and I would look to build a portfolio of between 20 and 25 stocks. And we'll talk more on that when we get into actually constructing a portfolio from this list. Now, I do want to show you something that we can do. For example, I was very, I'm going to say, generous with dividend. All I wanted was that they paid a dividend. So my dividend yield was greater than or equal to 0. But I can go in here and go custom value, and I can make this 1%. So I want now a dividend yield of more than 1%. I run my query, and I go from 46 names to 44. I've eliminated 2 names. And again, I'm going to see dividend yields here all above 1%. I'm going to eliminate the 0.46 we looked at earlier. I could go in here and be a little more focused and build this to something like 2%. Okay, so I want to save and close. I'm going to run the query, and now I'm down to 33 names. Okay, and a 2.5% number would be pretty good. But let me make a point. So if I go into here and just bring up a stock, I'm just going to bring up a stock so I can draw a company for you. If I did the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF Trust, the dividend yield's 1%. So when I started out with the 1% screen, I was looking for things that were stocks that would pay me more, a starting yield higher than the S&P. Now that I've increased it to 2%, now I've got 33 names on here that I can find that are yielding 2% or more. Okay, and I want you to notice that I've eliminated a couple of stocks, as you see, quite a few stocks. And I've got dividend yields now ranging from 2% up to 5.93 or 6%. Okay, again, I've got extremely high quality companies. I've got companies that have a history for the last 15 years of growing their dividend by 8% or more. Now, I'll get into another screen here, and that would be if I could look for estimated dividend growth, and we'll talk about that some more. But the bottom line is, now that I've got these companies, and we'll stick with this screen, I can start going here. Now, CVS is a stock that's had some trouble lately. Walgreens and CVS, both major drugstores, but also healthcare companies. And you can see they run into some kind of bad mojo here, if you will. Now, the question is the company going to recover like they think? I could get a dividend yield of 3.47% now. If I go back into the historical graph and look at it, even though they've had this trouble, they still maintained a strong dividend. They didn't increase it very much, but they did increase it a little bit, or expected to this year at least. Okay, well, actually, we can go in and look at that a little more detail. By going to the performance report, I can go in here and look at 2025, and I can look at the granularity, and I can see that for 2025, the company actually paid 0.036 cents, and they're expected to pay 0.145 dividends per share for this fiscal year. I can look at that kind of thing and basically analyze whether or not I'm going to be interested. But I'll be going through that process, again, in more detail. But I'll go through each of these companies, and I'll try to separate the wheat from the chaff, if you will. But now I've got a list, because this is a very strong bull market. As I illustrated, when you look at the S&P 500 Trust, you can see that valuation is very high. For those of you who don't follow my channel, the orange line represents the intrinsic value, okay? And the black line is the stock price. When the price is way above the orange line, that simply tells me that the stock is trading way above its intrinsic value. And you can see there are times when it does. Now, the blue line is the normal value. The market often values things at a premium as well, and the fast graphs reveals that as well. So we're looking at an index here that trades has fair value between 15 and 19. The 15 PE is kind of more of a margin of safety line, if you will, gives you a modicum of safety. And the blue line would be a full value line, but with a much lower earnings yield. In the case of almost a 20 multiple, 19.6. But by the way, this, especially the normal PE, it will change if I change time frames, but only slightly. The orange line tends to stick at around the 15 PE. But the blue line can change depending on how the market was valuing a stock over whatever time frame I'm measuring. Okay, so here I'm looking at the max. It's been about a 20 multiple. So in my brain, the S&P trades between 15 and 20 when there's what I'll call reasonable valuation. But anyway, I've created this screen now, and I've run the query, and I'm going to be massaging it a little bit. For example, watch what happens if I decide that I'm going to screen for 3% or better. Okay, if I save and close, I go from 33 names, now I'm down to 21 names. So why would I do this? If I was looking for, say, a client portfolio that I needed to build, and they had to have at least a 3% yield. Now, I'm going to build a portfolio based on a $2 million portfolio. So a 3% yield minimum, if the portfolio averaged 3%, when I looked at $1 million, that would be $30,000 per million. A $2 million portfolio would generate $60,000 in income. But I'm also going to look for that income to increase every year. That's what dividend growth to me is really all about. And we'll be talking about that in more detail when we get into constructing the portfolio. But in part one, I'm just showing you the process I go through for screening. Now, if I had a client that needed, let's say, a 5% yield, all right, then in other words, he needed to get 50,000 per million, then I would run my screen differently. And in this case, I don't have enough names to build. So what I would have to do in a case like this is I would adjust some of the other factors in here. I did run my original screen. I might lower my dividend growth rate. You always have a trade-off. When you got higher yields, you're typically going to find that in stocks that have less growth potential. If you have lower yields, now that's not universal. Let's say most of the time you're going to find stocks with more growth when they have lower yields or growth potential, and stocks that have higher yields, you're going to find them being lower growth. That'd be like utility stocks, for example. But anyway, that's how I can manipulate this portfolio here to try to find stocks that give me something that is going to meet the needs and the growth and the potential of the client that I'm basically looking for. So if I do the dividend yield equal to or greater than 0, again, I get my 46 stocks, and then I can start, because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be blending these to try to get a yield that meet. And I haven't decided what portfolio, but I'm leaning on, I'm going to look to try to build a portfolio where I can get at least a 3% starting yield. Now I might blend that by blending a stock that has a 1% yield with a stock that has a 5% yield, and that would give me up to a 3% average, if you will. So we'll talk about that, but it's how we can construct a value-oriented dividend growth stock portfolio. And the key here is value. Valuation matters, as I always say, and it matters a lot. But anyway, this is part one where I'm showing you how I'm going through the screening process and how I can think about screening so that I can just hone these screens down to where I eventually get delivered what I'm looking for. But I am going to tell you, I still have to go through each of these stocks one at a time and try to determine which stocks I'm going to basically choose for the portfolio where I'm going to have 20 to 25 stocks. And so I'll be looking at them and then seeing what Fast Graphs reveals and then deciding whether or not I think a given stock meets the quality characteristics I want, plus the dividend growth, which is going to be based on the forecasting and the long-term total return that I'm going to be looking for. Okay, and obviously Keycorp would be one of those. And it offers a dividend yield of almost 5% with a lot of growth. So this is almost a perfect candidate. It's a BBB rated company with modest debt. This one will surely show up in my portfolio. Anyway, this has been Chuck Carnevale. I hope you enjoy this. This is going to be a series where I'm going to construct a portfolio, and then we're going to put it in the Fast Graphs stock portfolio management program, and then we're going to track that, and then periodically I'll be doing updates on it. So this is going to be kind of a fun exercise. I'm starting it here in November. I should have really waited a month before I did it, but valuation is getting hard to find, and we've had some weakness in the market, which created a little value. So I wanted to go ahead and strike while the iron's hot, if you will. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a like, ring the bell, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and then for goodness sakes, take a look at subscribing to Fast Graphs. As I go through this process, you'll see what a marvelous tool it is to help you run your own stock portfolios more efficiently and more profitably in the long run. Thanks for watching.